This is how you share your games on PS4.
Thanks.
Well, well, well. How the mighty have finally fallen. Hey guys, this is JB, and today I'm going to talk about what Sony recently did that made everyone very upset. Well, I really don't have a script for this one, so I'm just going to do it off the top of my head while some gameplay plays while I'm here. I don't know, maybe Assassin's Creed Rogue or something. Okay, so on the official PlayStation blog, there has been this article, and I will read it to you right now just so you can get the gist. The title of this article is Physical Disc Production Ending in January 2028 for New Games Releasing on PlayStation Consoles. A consumer preference in the broader entertainment industry continue to shift away from physical discs into digital. Digital game disc production for all new games releasing on PlayStation consoles will be discontinued starting January 2028. Following this date, new games will be available on PlayStation Store and at retailers in digital forms only. This transition has no impact on games that have already been released or will be releasing prior to January 2028 in disc format. In this natural direction for Sony Interactive Entertainment to adapt to consumer needs as the general preference for digital media significantly outpaces physical discs. This transition will enable us to align more closely with how most of our community prefers to access and play games today. We'll continue to prioritize our resources to drive innovation in how players can access games and provide choices as to where players prefer to purchase new games, whether that's at retailers or PlayStation Store. We remain committed to delivering world-class gaming experience to our fans, and we thank you for your continued support. Now, that was written by Sid Schumann, Senior Director, Sony Interactive Content Communications. Now, don't get mad at him. He's just a mouthpiece for this. Blame the higher ups of Sony. Just want to get that right over. No harassment. So, what does this all boil down to? Ultimately, it means that the suits at Sony have seen that discs cost more money to produce than digital, and digital goods are much cheaper to produce and much more popular. That's what it boils down to. It's corpo cost saving stuff, which from a ecological standpoint absolutely makes sense if you think about it as a capitalist here. You want to make something you make now is in low demand, so you do not make it anymore and you shift to the thing that is more demand. And from a ecological standpoint, it makes sense. The only problem is that it's very anti-consumer. What is strange is that this is coming from Sony in particular, because I remember when I was a teenager, back when the Xbox One released, and they had huge restrictions on how you could share games and use games and all that. And Sony produced this hilarious little ad that very much mocked Microsoft's Microsoft's tendency to basically try to get rid of physical media and push digital media. Now, it is very hilarious considering Sony is the current market leader. I would say they're the market leader in video games right now, is pushing this kind of thing right now. And it is very anti-consumer and it's very anti-preservationist. Now, my own opinions is that I am a digital person. I live in a 12 by 12 room right now, so I can't really have a lot of physical video games. So I do prefer digital right now, but it's about the principle of it. That is the issue here. That is the issue to be seen. The thing is that physical games do offer a way of playing the game when the server shuts down. It offers a way to play it when Sony no longer has the rights to certain things. And you have to remember, this is not just for Sony first party, which would be bad enough. This is for all PlayStation games ever. Meaning that the PlayStation 6 is going to be a digital-only console. No more physical copies from Sony ever. And the sad part about it is, to me, this is very much an inevitable thing in this industry. The common consensus, and one that I agree with, is that this is a bad thing, and it is also just terrible for consumers. I agree with that 100%. I prefer digital media, but I always like to have physical media around. My big split I have with a lot of the physical collectors is that this is just inevitable in this corporate hellscape we live in now. Physical games have been disappearing for a while now. They've been disappearing since I was a teenager. It's been 10 years they've started this downward trend of physical games slowly disappearing, and I just think it's a inevitable slide. I don't think it's a good thing, but I do think it is an inevitable thing that is sadly going to happen. In this new world, we own nothing. That's just how it is with all these giant corporations running around. That they're not being like regulated at all, and it's very terrible, not just for games profession, but just for art in general. It's much more of a corporate commodification, and I think that's just a bad thing that can happen. But I also think that's just how it's going. It's cheaper for companies to not make discs, and it's easier for them if they need to do a recall. From a cold logical standpoint, it makes sense for the industry. It's not a future I like, but sadly it's just an inevitable one. One of the companies that proudly stood mostly for physical media is now taking them away. The company that once stood up to Microsoft, who were limiting the reach of physical games, is just now doing what they once said they hated. They want to remove physical games as an aspect, and since they're the market leader, what they do will have repercussions. Once they do this, the dominoes will fall. Microsoft will get rid of physical games completely, which they already have a small dedication to them. It's a very small thing to physical media. They've invested much more in their digital assets. And even Nintendo. Nintendo has probably been the best of the big three about games preservation. The problem is they'll sell it to you at a premium, which sucks. And also, a lot of their cartridges don't have the games in them. Like, all the first-party games will. But as far as third-party games, it's a crapshoot with Nintendo. So I would believe that Nintendo would love to cut some costs to get this down to this level. And with GTA 6 coming, and I think all of the copies are not true physical copies, they're boxes with codes in them, I think is a truly sad state of affairs. And like I've said before, it is sadly just a clear indictment of our modern society. You own nothing, the megacorps own you. And there's nothing we can really do about it. I wish I had a better way to end this message, but I really don't. I think this is a sign of the weakness in society. A thing that we need to fight against. It's merely a symptom. It's not the whole problem. But until we fight these mega corporations, there's not much we can do about it right now. And to be fair, there's not many of us can do. This is JB signing out. Good night and good luck.